The first time I went to Israel, I found out about the Biblical Resources Center that I later went with on my return trip. Their center there in Jerusalem was open both times I went, but since then they had to close there because the tourism industry was suffering so much in Israel. Now they're opening a museum in LaGrange, Georgia. So although nothing substitutes for touring Israel itself, you can go there to learn and benefit from this organization or order supplies from them like printed lectures and stuff. This is Barbara, who took me on my first tour through their archaeological gardens, and Hananya also works with the organization, so took me through it the second time I went.
We think like Greek people because we're raised with Greco-Roman teaching methods, and we use a lot of adjectives. Ancient Hebrew people did not use adjectives, they used verbs. And if you learn to think like this, you will understand the scripture better, at least in the way it was written. It was written by Eastern people for Eastern readers, and they understand things just like this that we never see because they think in terms of verbs. God is what God does. If we describe God, we say omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, because we use omni that means this is the most and this is the best. But there's no language in Hebrew that is worthy of God. So they know him as a God in their mind. At the freshman school, there are two main activities that happen here that tell you what he's like without giving you any adjectives. This is where God gives you your grain, so he's your provider. He knows the sun, the wind, the rain, and the seasons. He managed that, so with all knowing and all powerful, but he did it to give you your grain, so you know him personally as your provider. This is also where you separate wheat from chaff, good from evil, that he's your judge. In the Bible, the olive tree is the favorite tree of everyone. And today, if you ask somebody here, what's your favorite tree? It's always the olive tree. But I want to ask you, what's your favorite tree and why is it your favorite?
A silver maple, because that's the one that was in my front yard that I used to climb in when I was a kid.
Great memories, and they're pretty.
I think an oak tree, so huge and strong.
I would be so disappointed if somebody didn't say oak tree. I think it's a universal favorite everywhere except here.
Chestnut, because it's climbing up it, that's for me too, as a kid.
Great shade.
Yeah. Sugar maple for maple syrup.
I'm waiting for that answer. What I'm trying to do here is to find out if you paid attention between descriptive thinking and functional thinking. I used to say pine tree because the needles are always green, the wind sounds nice going through the needles. And that's a very Greek way of thinking. And most of you are still thinking Greek. The reason was not that you could use the tree, the reason was that it was pretty and strong, but you like the tree because of maple syrup. The tree gives you something back. This is functional thinking. In the Bible, John's disciples go to Jesus and they say, "Are you the one that should come or should we look for another?" What is Jesus' answer? Look what I do. The blind see, the lame walk, the deaf hear. It's a functional answer. And I think that it's really important when you read the scriptures to read behind it and say, function, function, function. It is not easy. I haven't asked you to do something that's really easy. It's difficult. You'll start out reading functional. 5 minutes later, you'll be reading it just the way you always have. But when you come to a text that you don't understand, ask yourself, what's the function? And maybe it'll give you a clue.
The land of Israel in the Bible is the land that flows with milk and honey. Jim had a conference once in the UK. Then on the new brochure that they misprinted, you're talking about the land of the milk and money. Not milk and honey. A whole bunch of new people coming to listen to him to know what he's going to talk about. But the land of Israel in the Bible is the land that flows with milk and honey. And that is two ways of life. North of Israel, you have more rainfall. So you can have wheat, you can have trees, and have fruits. South of Israel, you have less rainfall, you cannot really plant and produce. So you have goats and sheep for the milk part of the land, and you have honey for the northern part of the land where you can produce fruits and flowers and bees. So if you live on the southern part of the country, it's not that you're less blessed to be a shepherd, it's a different kind of blessing. If you live in the northern part of the country, it's not that you're more blessed because you have trees and water and the Sea of Galilee.
Remember, it was the northern 10 tribes that went into captivity and never did come back to the land of Israel, whereas Judah, that lived in the desert area, did get to return. So it was a blessing in disguise to live in the desert area because they had to depend on God for their sustenance. I've entitled this segment Interpretations of Archaeology because our preconceptions get in the way of interpreting correctly what archaeologists find unless we learn particularly from ancient writings and also from modern cultures of the Near East and the modern climate. This concludes the first hour introducing you to the science of archaeology in various aspects of my tour in Israel. Please continue watching to capture the many things I left out along the way.